What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm your host, Love Coach Scott Catamas, and it is not a backdrop between you. What you're seeing is real. It's not a Zoom backdrop. I am really fortunate to be in the haven put together by our friends, the Twin Ray, Shakina Ma and Sananda Ji. It just opened last night. I was here for the grand opening, and I know that a lot of you watched it. A lot of you were with us for that. So it's a beautiful space, and I'm so delighted that I get to be here this weekend, coming from this place, and we get to collaborate with Jennifer Hill, Teresa Collins, and Global Coherence Pulse. And the monthly shows we do with them are always powerful, and you're going to hear all about it in just a moment. But I want to welcome those of you that are watching on Facebook. And thank you to John and Summer Raymer through the Sign Network. We're on 100 different Facebook groups and pages. So welcome to all of you. And a special big welcome to our friends watching on Unify. And what's fun is you're coming to us from all over the world. So put into your various chat boxes where you are geographically. And that's true definitely for all of our friends that are in the Zoom room. And I see so many of our regular friends are with us. Let us know where you are geographically. Even though I might know it, it's new for all of our guests. And it's fun to see people coming from all over the world. We've got people from Ecuador and Australia, New Zealand, Canada, North America. So that's fun. And one other thing is I want to invite those of you who are watching on Facebook to come on into our Zoom room where you can interact more easily directly with us and more easily with our guests. And it's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, and register. And once you register, boom, you're going to get the links to all of our shows 3 times a week. We do a show Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. Every show is different. Every show is original. Plus, you'll get the replays on Monday and access to our YouTube channel with the over 400 shows we've done since the pandemic began. So welcome, and do join the Global Peace Tribe. Okay, I am looking forward to introducing Jennifer Hill. There she is. And Jennifer, welcome.
Hello, Scott, and thank you so much for having me join you again. It's such a pleasure to be here with you and the Global Peace Tribe audience.
And tell us about tonight's show and who we've got. You've got some wonderful guests lined up. I'm really excited. Tell us who we've got.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. Today's theme is Voices of the Future and connecting to the power of our voice, our resonance, and our vibration. As you know, and we focus on in the Global Coherence Pulse, all things in life can be tied directly back to our state of coherence or lack thereof. And so tonight we have some extraordinary guests joining us. We have Arthur Samuel Joseph, who is celebrity vocal coach to Dwayne Wade, He's worked with Tony Robbins, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and many others, and we'll be hearing from him here shortly on some vocal awareness methods. We also have Savannah, who is one of our voices of the future, who is a 10-year-old young woman who has already been cast in numerous different plays, including Shrek, The Wizard of Oz, and many others. And she'll be playing 2 sets for us on her own keyboard and singing her beautiful voice, which we'll hear in a little bit. We also, of course, have musical guest CORNFLOWER, one of our beloved favorites. Thank you, CORNFLOWER, for being back here and always bringing your beautiful harmony and vibration to us. And we're actually going to open the show after CORNFLOWER with a dear friend of mine who I had the privilege of meeting in Lisbon, Daniel Kirsch, who he is going to explore for us movement and vibration and how that ties in together. Additionally, we have 2 of Arthur's students who are, there's Daniel with us. We have 2 of Arthur's students who are with us today, Angela and Emily. So if we want to put Angela up, they are part of what's called the Bea Group, which is a group of young students who have been practicing vocal awareness methods for the past 2 years, since 2020. So we have on screen with us Angela and Emily, who will be sharing their origin stories utilizing vocal awareness principles. And of course, we also have Jason Mitchell. Jason is somebody I've had the privilege of knowing for many years. He is the assistant minister at Agape. If you're not familiar with Agape, it is a phenomenal non-denominational church led by Michael Beckwith. And Jason has been steadfast in heading the prayer ministry and does incredible work with inner city kids and people who are at risk. And so he's going to be talking to us today about how do we harness the voices of the future and how do we support them and support one another. So I think we've covered all the bases. Tell me if I missed anybody, Scott. I think Omashar. Yes, I was trying to find the one I was missing. And of course, our house band, Omashar. Omashar, it's always such a pleasure to have you with us, my friend. And he'll be closing out the evening tonight with one of his original music pieces.
My pleasure.
What a pleasure to have everyone here today. And again, just to set the context, we invite you to open your heart, mind, body, and spirit to new levels of vibration and resonance. And that is what everything we're talking about today is. How can our body, mind, and spirit and our voice, as Arthur will talk about, our capital V voice, be aligned and integrated into the wholeness of who we are as human beings? So I'm going to pop it back over to you, Scott, so you can introduce CORNFLOWER in more depth, and look forward to the first musical piece of the evening.
Great, fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. And I see we've got people from Chile, Oklahoma, British Columbia. It's really, really exciting. Now, I not only get to introduce CORNFLOWER, but I get to make a special announcement. We are going to have our first global Peace Tribe retreat. It is going to be in Sedona, Arizona. We confirmed that today. Thank you, everybody, for filling out the survey. And not only will you get to meet all sorts of great global Peace Tribers, but we're planning on bringing beloved brother CORNFLOWER out so you can actually meet him and listen to him in person. For anybody who's not familiar with CORNFLOWER, he's not only one of the most popular artists that we have on the show, but he's a genre-bending vocalist, live looper, and beatboxer. And his music is a fusion of organic a cappella, soultronica. Everything you're going to hear is original, happening spontaneously. So, Brother CORNFLOWER, welcome. I'm so glad you're with us again today.
It is so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. This has been a while since I've been on, and yeah, always a treat to get to share space with the Global Peace Tribe.
All right, take away, brother. It's all yours.
All right, here we go. Everybody put your hands over your heart. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Exhale a big deep sound out of your mouth.
Beautiful. That's all. I'm going to go to gallery view. Turn on your cameras and twinkle. Beautiful, beloved cornflower. I don't know. Most of our people are shy to turn on their cameras, but I sure appreciate everybody who does.
It's okay.
I'm going to go back to you, cornflower. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. That was really juicy.
I love how you tied it into, as always, you do such a good job of tying it into the theme of the show. And that's a beautiful thing that you do. Hey, I want to remind everybody that Cornflower, you can get all things Cornflower by going to his website. And it's cornflowermusic.com. Cornflowermusic.com. And we're going to go there right now. And he's got a lot. There's, of course, upcoming events. I love that you've got us listed there. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing live in Tennessee and Asheville.
That's my birthday show in Kingsport on 8/27, and then on 9/10 I'm playing at Samasati Sanctuary in Weaverville, just outside of Asheville.
And Samasati is owned by my friends, Roger and Benit.
Yes.
Fantastic. It's so good to see that you're doing live shows, and of course we're going to have to now add Sedona, Arizona.
That's right.
Hey, you know, one other thing, going back to his website for a moment, I do want to really encourage people. It's so important for us to support our artists. And so if you go down a little bit lower, there's a lot of different ways you can subscribe. You can get his news, but also join. It's so important for us to support our artists. Wow, you've got it so far down. Make sure
I don't think the flower seeds it's up a little higher up.
Oh, did I miss
back up? Yeah, it says the month, the release for the month, and it says subscribe and
right here.
One up.
Yes.
You can go up one more. You can go up one more, and there it is. Subscribe and listen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what I want to encourage everybody to do, which is what I've done, this is how we support Cornflower and Kristen Hoffman and all of the artists we love so much. Join their programs for as little as $3 a month. And you're going to get original Cornflower music. And that way he knows that you're going to be, he knows that he can count on a certain amount of money coming in every month. So please join, support Cornflower. He's going to be back for one more song about halfway through the show. And Cornflower, thank you for getting us off to just a great, great start.
Love you all so much. Have a great night.
Absolutely. All right, I'm turning it back over to my wonderful co-host, Jennifer Hill.
Thank you so much, Scott, and thank you to Cornflower. My gosh, that was just vibrationally juicy, as you said. And I love what's so funny is the musical artist we had on earlier today on The Pulse, Greg Papania, literally has the same birthday as you. And shout out to Teresa Collins, whose birthday is the day before on the 26th. So lots of love to all our Virgo friends and Leo friends who are celebrating. Wishing you a wonderful birthday show, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yes, lots of birthday love for everyone out there. And up next, we have my very talented and amazing friend who I've had the pleasure of seeing him perform live in person, Daniel Kirsch. He calls himself a queer artist. He is a levitator, meditator, creative genius who is birthing new things in the world. I think it was in 2015 that he created Studio Daniel Kirsch, and he performs around the world. He showed me an incredible live installation performance he had done last year, and I really highly recommend checking out the work he's doing. And he is now going to help us to vibrationally align through movement and dance. So I'm turning it over to you, Daniel, for this special performance. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that was amazing, Daniel. And thank you so much to everyone hanging in there with us at the end. We got a little static, but my gosh, your dancing really took the show away. Huge. Let's all send a little spirit sprinkles, little extra love to Daniel for that incredible performance. I highly recommend if you ever get a chance to see him perform live in person. It is magical to be in your presence, my friend. Whether you're moving or not, it's equally magical. Though I highly recommend everyone check out Studio Daniel Kirsch. Is that the best website for you, Daniel, right there? Perfect. So is there anything you'd like to share with us, Daniel, about what it is you're up to?
Yeah, you can sign up for our email list on the website. We're going to be launching Whoa in a few weeks now, which is a company around decentralized fine art and performance and creating experiential performances that are transformative and are centered around wellness and combining science, art, performance with meditation and technology.
Amazing, my friend. Well, I just honor and respect the artist that you are in all manners of that word. Your movement is just exquisite to watch, and wishing I could give you a huge hug right where you are in New York. So thanks for staying up so late to be here with us tonight and be in studio, and just lots of spirit sprinkles and love. And again, go to Daniel's website. We'll put it in the chat if you want to sign up and find out about other incredible events that Daniel is going to be doing. So thank you so much, my friend. Again, the website is, whoa, I believe it is, worksfromspace.net. So again, that's worksfromspace.net. And deep, deep gratitude to you, Daniel. Thank you for being with us today, my friend. And without further ado, now that we went from movement, everything is tied in. Movement, vibration, harmony, resonance. And now we are going to explore the power of our voice, our capital V voice, as Arthur will share with you in a moment. I am so privileged and honored to have been able to study under Arthur Samuel Joseph, learning vocal awareness principles that he has been teaching for going on almost 6 decades, if you can imagine that. He's taught Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, the commissioner of the NFL, Dwayne Wade, and Tony Robbins, just to name a few of his elite students that he's worked with. And of course, some of his students are here with us today who we'll be hearing from a little bit later, Angela and Emily. And what a powerful gift to empower and offer, though actually I know Arthur's going to have a thing to say about the word empower because he doesn't like it when I say that. I can feel the look on his face. But to allow people to step into owning their power. And so, Arthur, my friend, I love you, I cherish you, and I'm so happy that you're here with us today for the Global Peace Tribe Awakening World Show.
I'm so glad you invited me, Jennifer. This is just terrific. Following on the heels of this exquisite music we've just experienced in this movement, it's all whole. It's wonderful.
Well, my friend, for those people who might not be aware of the vocal awareness method and what we mean by our voice is our power, can you give a little context about the work that you've been doing these past 58 some odd years with people from around the world on learning to harness the power of our capital V voice?
I say to students in the first meeting, when you give me your voice, you give me who you are. The root of the word intimus means intrinsic or essential. So in our work, we learn how to be who we are, not simply present who we are. I've had the privilege over all these decades of treating a great number of elite athletes in all sports. And I say to them in a first lesson that you bring the talent to your sport, but someone teaches you every single thing you do. But who teaches us to be us? We don't realize how much work it actually takes to be us while others watch. We spend so much time in the white noise of what are you thinking of me, present, or even whole communication courses that say bond with your audience. Well, what if one person has this POV and another one has another one? I can't serve them both. So in our work, we learn how to claim our power. And we do that in part through what Jennifer loves me to speak about, the persona statement. The root of that word means through the sound. One's identity is largely conveyed through the sound of a voice and an opinion created instantaneously. If I speak to you, you know, in a way like this, you've got one impression of me. I speak with you like this, you have another. I don't have to say anything. But when I actually come to you from the integrity of who I am and how I communicate, it instantly morphs into something else again. So through the way we embody ourselves in stature, to acknowledging source, loving and letting go, the second of the 7 rituals, each time we take on those 3 rituals, stature, source, and love and let go, the body's first impulse is to inhale. Watch. Say thank you to source. Thank you to God, to the goddess, however you want to identify right now. Just inside yourself, embrace the thought of saying thank you. And you inhale. And your room instantly quiets. Internally, externally. Your space is different. In all these elite athletes that I teach, before they go out and play whatever their sport or compete in whatever their sport, they have a ritual. And the ritual never changes. And the ritual isn't just biomechanics, it's also spiritual. So I'm teaching Jennifer and I in the coursework we've co-created that she'll share with you a bit later, are teaching mastery through communication, embodying mind, body, spirit through the power of our voices. And notice I didn't just say embodying mind, body, spirit through the power of our voices. Watch my face, watch my eyes. Embodying mind, body, spirit through the power of our presentation, through our beings. The mouth is where the words come from, but you just discovered that the eyes actually tell the story.
And if I may interject.
Yes, I'm just getting ready to say, as I say all the time, I don't come up for air, so Jennifer has to call me out and pull me back in.
Well, I love you just the way you are, my friend. Don't ever change. That is part of being exactly who you are. And I'm here, as we always say in the courses, to keep kind of the bumpers on, keep us going the direction and in the lane we're in. And I wanted to acknowledge that the work that we do of being myself, and Arthur and I talk a lot about this, the capital S self, it requires feeling safe, feeling like you are able to be yourself. Because think of how, as human beings, we are often putting on a facade. Facade was one of my favorite words for many, many years. And it was hilarious because if you saw a speaking engagement, it makes me cringe. One that it was a very popular speaking engagement I did back in 2016 that was at a conference and everybody listened to it. And if you hear me talk, Arthur, you would not. It's cringeworthy because this I'll try to mimic how I talked. Hi, my name is Jennifer Hill and I talk quickly and I can't help it. So you got to follow along with me. And it's notice when there's that level of pacing, there's no safety, there's no space, there's no ability to be. And as my friend Allison Armstrong and teacher who had taught me, I wouldn't say friend, teacher and mentor, who had taught me years ago, she had said that in order to create something, a woman wants to give birth to a baby, she needs the space of her womb. If you look at the big cities of the world, London and New York and all the big cities have these parks because they need a space. And so we spend a lot of our lives talking at people rather than speaking with one another. And I just wanted to digress and tie that in, Arthur. Arthur, you can see, is doing third base coaching over here.
And because you're addressing space, and I'm a classical singer, as people know, I have a master's in voice, and a song without a rest is not the same piece of music, as I always say. So if I'm just talking with you like this, and I really don't have time to think about what I'm saying, all this white noise enters in. Judgment, awkwardness, ums and ahs. But instead, we allow a conscious, loving breath. You're going to see that with Emily and Angela in a moment. And they are so elegant. It's such a joy to teach them because, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But here, if I say to you all, take a deep breath, your chest rises. You're learning some tongue flex. Now, if I say to you, allow a slow, conscious, loving breath with your eyes on my face, this will take 5 to 7 seconds. Slowly, lovingly allow. Deeper. Relax your neck and shoulders. Deeper. And exhale, and you discover that the chest did not rise, this did not tighten, it relaxed, and the rib cage or intercostals expand just because I changed the word from take to allow, take to love. And the other really interesting point here is that we immediately feel safer. We allow room for us to breathe, to think, to engage in the 6 of the 7 rituals, to listen deeply to, as Jennifer referred a moment ago, to our capital V voice, the inner voice, this conversation between source and self that only we are privy to.
Arthur,
Also, yes, Jennifer.
I want to interrupt you on this because I can hear what the audience is thinking, and I like to put myself in their shoes. Everybody is screaming at me, ask him, how do you quiet so you can hear the capital V voice? Because what I'm hearing is that there's that challenge, right? We can talk about this esoterically, but how do we put into practice so we're not always hearing the noise that's out there with us?
That's one of the things I so love about my work, to be quite frank. You don't have to believe in the philosophy of the work. It's mechanical. Just do the work. But I say to all my students, I've said to Emily and Angela a gazillion times, you're never going to meet a more linear teacher than me. But there's absolutely nothing linear in the work. For example, sit up straight and you hold your breath. Now claim yourselves as empowered men and women of stature, pulling this golden thread from 3 inches below your navel, slowly, gracefully, with no tension in the upper body. Slowly, gracefully, right through the middle of the crown chakra. Taller. Nothing here comes from here. Stretch. And the body inhale. We thank Source. We love and let go. And this is part of what I call mastery moments. That we employ these techniques countless times a day. 30, 45 seconds before we go into a meeting, before we're on a Zoom call, before we go on a date that we really are a little anxious about, perhaps, whenever it is. Because in your persona statement, you're going to say, I want to be known as, and it's not going to be average, I can assure you.
Let's backtrack on that, Arthur, because I realized we talked about the persona statement more in depth on the Global Coherence Pulse earlier today, though I don't think we distinguished exactly what the persona statement is. So do you mind if I distinguish that?
Thank you, dear.
So one of the key elements and cornerstones of vocal awareness is this idea of our persona statement. We first begin by looking at how do we believe that we are currently perceived? And then we begin to inquire and engage in how do we want to be known? If we had it all our way, if poof, I could give you magic fairy dust and you could be and embody that human being you intend to be, dancer, singer, writer, business person, how would that look? How would that feel? And then the second part of this exercise is to first draw how you believe you're currently perceived, and then draw how you want to be known.
And as Jennifer so eloquently explains this, I always say to a student, I will never make you into someone you're not, but I will steadfastly commit to bringing out what's possible. And that's because of this persona statement. You identify how you want to be known. And the other really important discovery here is we actually have a choice. Everything in life revolves, as I always say, around two things: to choose to do something or to choose not to. And so one of my axioms is that structure does not impinge, it liberates. Freedom without direction is chaos. So when Jennifer spoke for you and put a cork in my mouth and said, hey, we'll slow down a bit here. How do we actually do this? Our mastery moment, 30 to 45 seconds. You identify how you want to be known. You slowly and gracefully put yourself in stature. We thank Source. We think about the intention for the meeting. And very importantly, never rush and inhale. For you see, a breath isn't only physical, it's also emotional and spiritual. The Hebrew word neshama means both soul and breath. In Latin, spiritus and inspirare, spirit and inspire mean to breathe and to breathe into. It's all connected. So once again with me, in stature, no upper body stress. Just feeling this thread, thanking Source with me together, eyes on my face. You'll pick my arms up peripherally. We're going to allow a slow, silent, conscious, loving breath and enjoy it while we do so. Here we go and begin. Deeper, so loving. Release any trauma, any upper body tension. There's no hurry. Deeper. And notice how instantly you feel so connected. Does that answer your question, Jen?
It does, my friend, and an invitation that I suggest when I'm teaching people heart math techniques or our work is it's about putting this into practice. I was once instructed by one of my teachers to imagine that every time you walk through a doorway, poof, you are walking into a new version of yourself. And so as you do that, you could just remind yourself, allow what we call a CLB, conscious loving breath. And as we begin to do this again and again, as HeartMath would say, you actually develop a new baseline. So instead of having that baseline of anxiety and frustration, the more we're breathing, doing heart-focused breathing and HeartMath, I love integrating that with the work that Arthur and I do in the conscious loving breath. It is from this place that we are able to embody who we want to be known as in the world. And I'm going to offer a fun exercise that we actually share in the program. So this is a little teaser of one of the things that we talk about in our Vocal Mastery for Leaders class coming up on September 6th, is an exercise to see how are you currently perceived in the world. Step one is that you go out and you find 5 people who I recommend having a variety of people. It could be someone you know well, it could be a recent acquaintance, and maybe a family member or somebody you've known for a long time. And you ask them these 6 questions. What was your first impression of me when we met? Where have I surprised you? Where have I disappointed you? What can you count on me for? What can't you count on me for? And what is your impression of me now? And when you go through and you ask those questions, you might be astounded to see what you find out. I remember many years ago when I began this journey with Arthur, I had a dream of being a thought leader. And Arthur would always say to me, Jen, you're going to be that, though you have to show up and you get to be that person. Though in order to be that person, we have to bring conscious awareness, which is a term Arthur and I coined, which is bringing our awareness to how we live our lives rather than living reactively, taking as we take breaths, taking energy. We allow, we receive, we expand. So Arthur, share, if you wouldn't mind, what are the 7 rituals, just to kind of give an overview of them before we get into it with Emily and Angela after Savannah's song, so people will have a context of what the 7 rituals are. And as a quick aside, I do recommend Arthur's book, Vocal Leadership, especially on Audible, because it's like getting a vocal mastery lesson from him personally. So Arthur, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Stature is preparation for everything. There is no off switch in communication mastery. We live in this conscious aware state, consciously aware state. We don't present, we claim and embody. I cannot empower you. That's arrogant. But I can help you empower yourself. So when we claim ourselves as men and women of stature, then we transition to the first ritual, which we can also incorporate as we put ourselves in stature, which is to say thank you to Source, to God, however you want to identify, or merely say thank you. The second ritual is to love and let go. Don't think about whom or what, even in this moment, just hearing the words, love and let go. Notice what your body does. Just love and let go. It breathes, it relaxes. You immediately still yourself. The third ritual is to allow a slow, silent, conscious, loving breath and enjoy it while you do so. The fourth ritual will get your attention. And picture me walking down Fifth Avenue, New York, or doesn't matter where I am, I do it, I don't care. It's called a yawn sigh. It's like yawning and sighing at the same time, because this is where we begin to see the edge and arc, not arch, the edge and arc of sound. Listen. Here's my voice. I've been speaking to you as effectively as possible, but watch what's going to happen. And now when I speak to you, you hear more presence in my voice, immediately more resonant, because the nasality enhances that resonance. Then I take it to using it with some words. The phrase I'm going to use is, you are extraordinary people and you do extraordinary things. And I see all of that right here. It's called visceral language. Emily and Angela will communicate magnificently in that technique. But listen to how I warm it up. You are extraordinary people, and you do extraordinary things. I've just aligned my mind, body, spirit, energy, and soar. The fifth ritual, so important. Take my time. In communication, it is never how fast, but how effective. Nothing is gained by going too fast, but potentially everything could be lost. Integrity, understanding. The sixth ritual is where I strive to live and encourage all of us to live. Pay attention, deeper listening. We pay attention out here, but simultaneously, intra and interpersonally, also embodying, engaging the inner voice, the capital V voice, this conversation between source and self that only we are privy to. Simultaneously, we live in this state. Because the whole purpose of the work, as Jennifer said a few minutes ago, is the seventh ritual. Not 2 words, but three, and the third one begins with a capital S. Be myself. I don't know how much time we had, Jennifer, so you just tell me when to get off the merry-go-round, pal.
That was brilliant, Arthur. Thank you so much for sharing that, my friend. And so those are the 7 rituals of vocal awareness, and there are nuances to each and every one of them. And as we practice, it is hard work to be ourselves, as Arthur always reminds me. And yet most of the time we show up and we're afraid, we are fearful that people will see the truth of who we are. And when we can learn, it was interesting today. Of course, in this context, on a show like this, I can share this. I like to talk to trees, and I like to put my hand on a tree every now and again, or plant or a flower, and ask for wisdom. And today, as there was a break in between the pulse that we were doing earlier and now, I put my hand on a tree, and what it said was, believe in yourself, and others will believe in you too. And I think that really ties into the work that we are doing here. I love that Dr. Laura says she loves trees too. So Arthur, before we go to the website and talk about our Vocal Mastery for Leaders course beginning on September 6th, what are your closing thoughts, my friend? We'll, of course, have Angela and Emily on after Savannah's performance, then we'll bring you back for a few minutes. Though I'd love to hear what your closing wisdom is, perhaps, for everyone.
I would love, thank you. It gives me an opportunity to share something I didn't get to share earlier today. I close all my public seminars with this story. I was going to bed one night, I believe it was 1978, 1981, somewhere in there, reading Quest magazine. And this thought imposed itself on me and wouldn't go away until it made me get up and write it down. And the only paper I had was the magazine, which is framed on my studio wall today. It said, voice is the only artistic experience which is both finite and infinite at the same time. It is fallible and fragile, gone in an instant, unseen, only felt. Remembered from the past even a long moment ago, anticipating its future even as its present has just occurred. It's temporal, visceral, organic. Such a complex, simple, and beguiling transcendent state. And that's what came through about 10 o'clock one night. I spent the next 2 or 3 years analyzing this, exploring it through voice science prism, through philosophy, psychology, spiritual practices. And one of the things I began to do was substitute other words for the word voice. Life is the only artistic experience which is both finite and infinite at the same time. Or love, it is fallible and fragile, gone in an instant, unseen, only felt. And I came to understand the paradigm of vocal awareness, which is to deliberately and consistently and consciously and integrally integrate life, love, through the power of our voice, reflecting the power of who we are, integrating mind, body, spirit, and connecting this vibration everywhere we go. And so having the opportunity to share with you tonight and in a moment meet these 2 extraordinary young women after this amazing singer you're going to hear, it is a privilege. This is my journey of almost, as Jennifer says, 60 years. Thank you all. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, my friend. I am having a funny thought that I'm debating whether or not to share. I'm going to go with it. I was reading a book this week called Quantum Jumps by Dr. Cynthia Sue Larson. And I was thinking, Arthur, of what we call the pencil technique, where you put the pencil between your teeth. And we do not try this at home, by the way, until you're well versed in this. Though what you can do at home is, in Dr. Cynthia Sue Larson's book, she said if we all put a pencil in between our teeth, if we're feeling sad, it actually creates happiness. Whether or not you're feeling happy, just the idea of putting something in between your lips and turning your lips upwards makes you happy and smile. And so I wanted to share that because I just thought it was funny how it ties into the pencil technique, which we teach.
Great.
And what a great way, even if you don't feel like smiling, even if you're just like, no, you can't make me, just stick that pencil between your teeth and practice smiling. And you know, what a great little tip for life. So Scott, over to you, my friend, to share the website.
I just love that. That's a great tip. I'm going to remember that one. Well, I want to show a couple of things. Let's start with Arthur's website. So Arthur is at vocalawareness.com. Definitely always put in your name and email so that you can stay in touch with what he's doing. And that's what I'm doing right now, as I always do with our guests.
Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. And download your free guide right now. So just by doing that, I see that I've just been received a beautiful, beautiful little gift from him. So thank you so much. And then, as I mentioned, Jennifer and Arthur are going to be teaching a course together. So tell us about, oh, I went to the same one again. Tell us about the course that you're going to be doing together.
Well, thank you, Scott. Arthur's always taught privately one-on-one, and it's only been recently that he and I were inspired to co-create a class. We just had our first cohort graduate and go through a 7-week program, and it was truly moving. We were all in tears during our last class. And so we're about to start another one on September 6th. We have 2 classes starting, an advanced class that's starting at 8 a.m. that we're halfway sold out through already. And then we have another introductory course starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time that's normally $2,999, though through tomorrow you can get it for $299. So for your audience and for Teresa and the Global Pulses audience, we're giving that special offer through tomorrow. And it's going to be a wonderful journey that we teach you how to keep the mastery switch on. One of our students, we have students from all over the world. We've had Australia and the UK and all over the place. And she just said her voice completely changed dynamically. And people saw, no matter whether you're a professional speaker or not, how it has an impact on your resonance and how you show up everywhere. So we'd love to have you with us in the program. If you're interested, you can go to vocalmasteryforleaders.com and find out more.
Now, I want to make sure everybody understands that. Say what that again. If I understood it correctly, did you say that it's normally 2,000 and that you're doing it for 200? Give those numbers one more time.
Yeah, of course. If you scroll down a little bit, it's on the website, Scott. So it's $2,999. I love my friend Arthur, and he doesn't come cheap. So normally the class, we both, our time is valuable, but we want to make sure to make it accessible to everyone. When Arthur approached me about this, he said, Jen, for special things like the shows we're doing this weekend, let's try and be sure that money isn't something that would stop people. And if, God forbid, even $299 is too much, please do write Arthur or myself an email. And something we're exploring is potentially doing scholarships for this or future classes. So we would love to hear from you.
That is an amazing discount. I am amazed. So I've put that into the chat box. For those of you watching on Facebook, again, go to vocalmasteryforleaders.com. And thank you so much. That's really, really good.
And Scott, to just interject one thought, these classes are also archived. So if somebody, for example, is in Australia and it's 1 a.m, they can watch it at a later time. And it's really, really special. So.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for your nice introduction to it, Scott. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Wonderful to have you with us, and I see a lot of people in the chat box and on Facebook are really appreciating this. So,
thank you.
And I think we're going to hear from Arthur a little bit more in a moment, or in a few, I should say, in about 15 minutes, probably. Jennifer, you want to tell us a little bit about Savannah?
Yes, so Savannah, oh my gosh, and thank you, Arthur, and thank you to each of you for being here with us. I was inspired the moment that we talked about this idea of voices of the future. I've been following for quite some time this lovely, amazing, precocious young woman, Savannah, who is my dear friend Shauna Austin's daughter. And the moment we planned the show, I said, oh, Shauna, I would love more than life itself to have Savannah and her beautiful energy on the show with us. She is incredible. She's going into 5th grade. She's 10 years old. She has been performing in theater most of her life and cast in numerous shows, as we mentioned, Shrek, The Wizard of Oz, and many others. And she just signed her first talent agent, her first youth talent agent. She had people fighting over her. So we are just so lucky to have her with us on the show today. And Savannah, before we go into the song, I would love to have you just share for a moment, why did you choose the song Rise Up? I think it's such a beautiful choice and it's one of my favorite songs.
Well, I think this song is pretty inspiring and beautiful, and I would love to share it with other people.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Well, we are going to turn it over to you to hear you just share your voice, your capital V voice and your music, the music from your heart. And we hand it over to you, my friend.
Okay, before I start, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Scott and Mrs. Jen and everyone who invited me here. You're broken down and tired of a living life on a merry-go-round, and you can find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And now rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains, bring it to its feet and mountains. And now rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the waves. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Thank you.
That was really, really fun. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, I was just saying, Savannah, well done. Oh my God, let's all send Savannah some sprinkles, some love, a little magic. That was the courage it takes in the voice and the heart and soul that you sing with. Just so much love to you, Savannah. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, talking about how voices are of the future, and you are one of the voices of the future. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, my friend, and we'll hear you again in about another hour. We'll have Savannah back on with us to do a second performance. And without further ado, I would love to bring on, let's start with Angela. We have Angela joining us actually from Honolulu, Hawaii today, who is one of Arthur's students. Let me just go ahead and double check. Hopefully her camera's
She's not, let's start with Emily because Angela's not with us yet.
Perfect. So we'll start with Emily then. So we have one of Arthur's students with us here today, Emily Brent. And Emily is just an incredible young woman who Arthur has taught through the Bea Group. She is a college student and engineering major at Harvey Mudd College and is a co-designer of the Bea Group program. Her goal is to one day use her career as a mechanical engineer to create a more sustainable environment in the aerospace industry. So she has been working with Arthur since 2020. And Emily, we would love to have you now share your origin story with all of us, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It is such a privilege to be here, and I'm so excited to share my story with everyone.
And if you wouldn't mind, Scott, can we put Arthur on camera? Because we thought it would be fun to have Arthur on camera with you so he could be third base coaching you. I know it helps me when he's on camera too. So if Arthur is around and we can pop him on, that'd be great.
It really does. Thank you. I became an adult at a very young age. My mom worked 2 to 3 jobs for most of her life. So when my dad lost his job in the 2008 recession and sunk into diagnosed depression, my mom continued working hard to financially support us while I became the adult placeholder at home to care for my younger sister and father. Unlike the typical 7-year-old that was outside chasing the ice cream truck and causing trouble with friends, I was the 7-year-old that was inside helping my sister with her homework and learning how to cook meals for my family while my mom was away. It was a challenge for me at such a young age, but I learned time management skills very early on when trying to juggle my own academics too. This became especially helpful when I began juggling my AP classes, running track and field, attending engineering classes, participating in countless extracurricular activities and clubs, and volunteering for organizations like the Red Cross and Compton Initiative in order to take care of others. If anything, I was stretching myself too thin just to prove to myself that I could accomplish anything and everything against all odds with hard work and dedication. The hard work paid off when I got into college, and now I get to study at an amazing school in an effort to help even more people. I'm more grateful than anything because my experiences have taught me to face challenges head on and to better appreciate the important people and connections in my life. It shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm ready to face any challenges that come my way. Adversity, after all, is what helps us as humans to better appreciate the moments of joy in our lives and the results of our hard work. I'm now more determined than ever to succeed and make my voice heard, and I now know that I can be my best self to better serve the world.
That was tremendous, Em.
Thank you, Arthur.
Wow. I'm moved, Emily. I can't imagine what that must have taken for you as a 7-year-old to be helping with your siblings and to help run the household. I just really want to acknowledge the strength and courage and grace that you must have shown as a young woman and that you're still showing as a young woman now. And I really acknowledge you. Kudos to you for sharing your story, for being the young woman that you are, and for the incredible human being that you're growing into and the difference that you're committed to making on the planet. We're so grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
We appreciate you. And what I would love to do too is I'll look it up before Angela speaks, and we'll include it after that, is I'd love to look up the Bea Group, June's company as well, because you've been working very closely with June, co-designing a lot of the work you're doing, right?
Yes.
That's incredible. So shout out to June Bea, who created the Bea Group, and Angela and Emily are working with her on that, along with Arthur. And thank you so much again, Emily, for sharing with us. And would love to have Angela join us if she is free with us. And thank you so much. Angela, what a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us from Hawaii, nonetheless, and making time out to make this a priority. We appreciate you and would love to hear a little bit about your origin story. But before we do, let me just share, as Arthur was sharing offline with us, you are a computer science student and guru from what we hear in technology. And you're actually attending my old alma mater, UC Irvine. So shout out to Dean Maurer. I'm actually doing an event with him in a couple of weeks here in LA. And you're also, as well, a co-designer of the Bea Group and have been working with Arthur for 2 years as well, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, I love the way that you just answered there in vocal awareness. Feel that vibration. That was amazing. Kudos to you, my friend. So we would love to hear your origin story, Angela, as well. And I'm going to leave you and Arthur on camera.
Yes, of course. Thank you guys so much for having me here. I am very honored. And now I am going to share my origin story with all of you guys. At age 5, I moved from LA to Xi'an, China. where most of my childhood took place. Although I looked Chinese, I felt foreign among my peers. I was often held back after class due to my lack of Chinese proficiency, but the hours spent after school improved my fluency in Mandarin to the point where I could write poems and stories. The Xi'an dialect rolled off my tongue easily. I had integrated into the Chinese culture. At age 10, after having put down roots in Xi'an, I was torn from the ground once more and taken back to America, where my life had first begun. Leaving behind the life I had so painstakingly carved for myself saddened me, but I felt optimistic about the future. However, seeing the score far below basic printed on my first English evaluation test left me devastated. I was foreign again. I had to go through the struggle of having to relearn English while feeling left behind by my peers for the second time. By 7th grade, I was labeled as proficient in my English class and my tests. The additional hours I spent each day reading books and using Google Translate to make sense of the unfamiliar words paid off. My strong work ethic, instilled in me by my upbringing, continued throughout high school and allowed me to maintain a high GPA. Although this educational opportunity was not voluntary, struggling to fit into different cultures has taught me the merits of being diligent and open-minded. Embodying these traits has helped me to break down the educational and cultural barriers that have come my way.
Goodness gracious. Angela, who's that masked man? That's so extraordinary. You guys have no idea what Emily and Angela go through to do this. It's amazing. Thank you, my beautiful friend.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And you know what this reminds me of, Angela? Hearing you and Emily share, if we can put Emily on screen as well, I would love that. There was once a book I read called One Amazing Thing. I'm going to tear up because it's one of my favorite stories. There were 9 characters. It's a fictional story in this Indian embassy. And the author does such a great job of getting you to judge each of the characters. There's an adulterer, there's a punk kid, there's a this and a that person, right? And you feel a certain way about the characters. And then a horrible earthquake hits, and this is on the back of the book, so I'm not giving anything away. And this horrible earthquake hits, and they're all stranded, and they don't know if they're going to live or die. And so an ex-Marine who's sitting there says, "This may be the last chance that we have to share the one amazing thing that makes us who we are." And just as so eloquently and beautifully Emily and Angela shared their one amazing thing of many, your perspective of the characters did a 180-degree shift. And so I think that this is really an invitation to get curious. Ask one another our origin stories, the one amazing thing or the many amazing things that make us who we are. And I don't know about you, but I know my heart is just blown open from these lovely, incredible young women who are so eloquent and had the courage and the perseverance to join us today in this audience of thousands of us around the world and to share their origin stories. So really kudos, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. And
Thank you.
I see a note here from Scott. Scott would love, oh, that's interesting. Scott would love to have some of you share your personal stories as well.
Yeah, I mean, we are a community, and more and more people like Dr. Laura and Eleanor and all of our regulars, Karen Eisenberg, those are just the ones I see because their cameras are on. Love to hear some of your stories. What are some things you've done that you're proud of? And certainly, Angela and Emily, an honor to have you on the show. You are what the show is all about, Voices of the Future. And I'm seeing where a lot of our audience are really appreciating you sharing your stories and how already at such early ages you've persevered through challenges and obstacles to become the strong beings that you are. And it's an honor to have you on the show with us. Thank you so much.
Scott, Jennifer, is this the moment I get to share a bit about
Yes, you
this?
Yes, it is.
can share a bit about this, Arthur.
One of the things that moves me so much about working with young people is that they actually trust me. Here's this 76-year-old person speaking to a 17-year-old and doing all these bizarre things we do in vocal awareness. But they trust me, and they trust me. And then this emerges. Imagine if we have the ability to do what they're already doing, have the courage to define who they are by tapping into their origin story, and to have the courage to share this. This is amazing. Several years ago, I was teaching at Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. And I said to the students there that you are the future leaders of our global society. And I said, note, I didn't say business leaders. I said leaders. For what you become will change our world. So when these two amazing women allow me to teach them and do my third base coaching to support them, it's deeply moving. And they know how much they mean to me. They know my love for them. And again, a shout out to June Bea, who created all of this. And so interesting, June, as Jennifer had studied with me for probably a decade. And Bea Group emerged in one of our lessons. We'd been working toward it for a couple of years. And then one day it happened. And these were deep, emotional, Sturm und Drang experiences where you're really struggling to tap into what is it I really want to do in life. And how comes this? Where now Emily, Angela, Bea Group is reaching hundreds or thousands of people at this point in the last couple of years.
Bea Group has been around for about 5 years, and every year we have this year we had 300 interns, but the previous years we had about from 100 to 150, 200. So by now, Bea Group has reached to thousands, like 1,000 youth. All right.
And we just finished 6 weeks of it, what's called a deep dive. And the 11 students in our group that Angela and Emily helped co-facilitate along with Cassandra and Juan, they all did their origin stories live on Facebook. And it was a two-hanky, let me tell you. Just like you ladies make me so proud. Thank you for your love and trust. Jennifer?
I am so grateful, Arthur, to be one of the lucky students who has been able to study with you. And I just so acknowledge you and June and Angela and Emily and all of your team members to be able to have that voice, to be able to know that you do matter. And so often, I know when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, I didn't have a voice and I was so afraid to even speak my name, let alone speak my origin story. So I'm just profoundly, deeply touched, moved, and inspired by who each of you are in this world and the difference that you are making and the difference that you might not ever even know that you're making by sharing your story, sharing your vibration, and by being the voices of the future. Thank you for being with us. And thank you, Arthur, for all of your teaching and lessons. So much love for you, my friend.
I'm going to come
God
in
bless you.
and just show people again that you can study with Jennifer and Arthur, this incredible option to work with them. And it's starting very, very soon. So register now, register tonight, because they're giving this amazing discount. What's normally an over $2,000 program, you can get it for $299. So go to vocalmasteryforleaders.com. And also, again, since we heard so much about the Bea Group, I just want to, again, take people to that website because I didn't know about it before today's show. And my gosh, there's like so so much that I see that they're providing. So again, if you go to behagroup.com, and I'm going to go to the website one more time. Here it is. It's the Beha, BAYHA group. Beha, like ha ha ha, group.com. And clearly they are serving better. And you can learn all about them. You can read about the team, and you can learn about the different projects that they're doing. So thank you for this very inspiring series of experiences with each of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. What an excellent co-host with the magnificent Jennifer Cahill.
Yeah, it's a blessing to work with Jennifer. And I want to give a shout out to Teresa Collins. Teresa is watching. Her internet's wonky tonight, so we might not get to see her on camera, but Teresa is a big part of this once a month that we all come together to do these shows together. So a big shout out to Teresa. And I think it's time for some music. So I'm going to go to our beloved brother, Cornflower. Cornflower, how was your experience listening to these voices from the future?
It was absolutely inspiring. I actually wanted to speak to all of you. Savannah, first off, it was just incredible. You're 10 years young, and bringing your voice into this world, just tremendous power and breadth and depth. And Angela, and is it Emily? Is that right? Did I get that
Yes.
right? I am completely floored by where you have risen from, what you've come through, and your ability to speak so heartfully into it and share that with all of us. And it really brings me a lot of hope that our humanity has a chance, knowing there are souls like you who have incarnated on this planet and are just becoming into this world, and you're going to be sharing your gifts. And such an honor to share the stage with you all. Hi, Savannah. Hey, Emily. And it's truly an honor to be here and to share this event with you all. And I hope that one day we can play together and connect in real time. One of the beautiful things about this technology is we get connected, but then there's the opportunity to make it real in real time. And just know that I am game to play with our young leaders. And so you can inspire me and teach me, because we're all ultimately student teachers in the Earth School. So all learning together and learning from one another. So thank you for teaching me today. And Arthur, what a tremendous honor to get to hear you speak and to receive your wisdom and your work. I had no idea about it. Jennifer, thank you for bringing his work to my attention. I had no idea, and would love to meet you also in person and share a tea or something and chat about life.
Angela kind of dropped off, and so did Arthur, so that's why I don't
It's
know.
okay. It's okay. Well, I usually do an improv, with you guys, but I've had this new song I've been working on, and I think I actually ran a test version of it with you all months ago, maybe even last year, and all I had were the lyrics to the chorus. Well, I finally developed some sorry, my cat is on my loop pedals. She really loves it when I start playing music. Her name's Polly. Anyway, and just my being so inspired from everyone sharing, I have to give it a go. I only have a couple of verses that are finished, and one's kind of not 100% there, but I love workshopping stuff live, and especially because this music is so birthed from the universal flow and source of life. When I sing and when I open up to the music, I feel like we're all informing it in the moment, and I love getting to share and connect, even though we're seemingly distant from one another in that we're all from around the world. When we come together with a focused intention and attention, it's like we are in the same room together all of a sudden. And so I want to share this song. It's called Grateful for My Life, and I hope you enjoy it. Doom, 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 doom.
every day with the choice I have to make. I can focus on my fears or find peace with what is here. I can feel the voice within. It rises and descends. A flower blooms inside, and now it's time to fly. Every day and every night, through the darkness and the light. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for my life. Every day and every night, through the darkness and the light. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for my life. Shivers take control, it vibrates in my life, touching all of every life. Inspires me to song, and everyone can sing along. Every day and every night, through the darkness and the light. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for my life. Every day and every night, through the darkness and the light. I am grateful for my life. 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 Yeah. Come on. Grateful for my life. day and every night, through the darkness and the light. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for my life.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. I loved watching people dance, including Eleanor Joy, who was just rocking it, Eleanor.
Yes.
I mean, you gave us a beautiful dance performance there.
Thank you for your love and presence. It really juiced me up tonight, Eleanor. Bless you.
And so many people are putting in how beautiful, how inspiring. Thank you so much. And a reminder, come plan on being in Sedona, Arizona with Cornflower, myself, Kristen Hoffman, and hopefully the more of you that come, then the more we can invite even more of our favorite artists and teachers to be there. And there's going to be a music festival, a psychic festival, a special Cornflower concert, and we're going to put together some really, really fun events. A chance for us all come together, have food together, do workshops together, go out to power spots in Sedona together. It's going to be very magical. So really looking forward to sharing that with everybody. And a reminder again that you can find all things Cornflower by going to his website. And his website again is Cornflower Music. And that's cornflowermusic.com, of course. And please join if you can. If you're anywhere in Tennessee, North Carolina, go to his events. Otherwise, meet us in Sedona. And I'll be sending out an email later this week with all the details where people can actually register. But for now, still fill out the survey. That survey, we had about 50 people fill it out in the first couple days, and it's given a lot of feedback, Cornflower, to us. It's helped Tangela, who I'm doing this with, and I to shape it. So that's
Great.
great.
So exciting. Thank you so much, Scott and Jennifer and everyone who's been on this and to come. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the evening. I love you all so much. It's always such a gift to be a part of this tribe, and you guys continue to uplift me and inspire me. So thank you for being a part of my family, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Cornflower. I love you so much. All right. Are you ready to introduce our next guest?
Yes, ready as ever. Hey, Scott, this is the first time I've done a show with you where it's not 3 or 4 in the morning my time. So I am very grateful. It's like magical because I happen to be in LA today. So I actually have my wits about me.
That's great. You're doing great. You always do great.
Aw, thank you, my friend. Well, up next, we have Jason Mitchell, Reverend Jason Mitchell, who I've had the privilege of knowing for, gosh, I've probably been going to Agape almost 20 years. And Jason, when I was reflecting on who I'd love to have be part of this show, Jason definitely came to mind because of the work that he is doing with young people, with youths in the justice system. And you do so much, Jason. You're assistant minister at Agape. You manage the prayer ministry. You've been working at Agape yourself for, I think, 20 years. Is that right?
Not quite. I've been at Agape 17 years now. It's been 20 years that I've been involved in community work and things of that nature. And I've been a practitioner at Agape for 10 years now.
Amazing, my friend. Well, having gotten to see you perform many times at Agape and share your wisdom, your prayer, and your blessing, I'm so grateful to have you here with us today. And would love to hear from you, Jason, about why this matters to you. Why do you spend your time? Why do you go out and help youths and work at Agape, one of my favorite spiritual centers in the whole wide world? Why does this matter to you?
I always am clear that there were moments in my life where I wanted someone to speak. Tonight, we've had a wonderful opportunity to hear voices and to hear people who were clear in tone, clear in intention. And the world that we live in is not always clear. Sometimes it's not always clear because people are unaware. People are boldly ignorant. People are unfortunately oppressed from knowledge and understanding. But over the course of my journey in my life, I know there were things along my way that it was clear that no one was speaking, that no one was articulating something that was a clear, accessible truth to me. They may have been promoting, proselytizing, preaching even. They may have been giving a good word. And I've been throughout my life encouraged by the words and the energy from other people. But what I was clear about as I reflected, and especially as I listened to the young women that have spoken and articulated and used their voices to tell their stories today, that I was not given permission to tell my story when I was younger. That often in some of the communities that many of us were raised in, that telling our story is forbidden because some of our stories come with pain, and pain is not something we talk about. Some of the stories that we come with on our journey are sad, and talking about sadness is not always acceptable. And so as I think about the gift that I had in working with the Spirit Awakening Foundation that was created by Akuyo Graham, who caught a vision when she was as a practitioner student more than 20 years ago, and the opportunity that I had to serve there, as I caught a vision many years ago when I was working as a teacher in the Los Angeles Unified School District, as I caught a vision many times of just knowing that voices are being called forth, and we don't always know who we're speaking to, even when we're before an audience. Whether they have bought a ticket, whether they have signed up for a subscription letter, we don't know who's forwarding to who's forwarding to who's forwarding. But I've become clearer and clearer that it is essential that all of us who have awakened, all of those who are recognizing that we are awakening, that it is essential that we use our voices. And the young people are the ones who I feel are the most pliable, no matter how tough, no matter how resistant, no matter how steadfast they are in what they believe in this moment. They're also keen in acknowledging, I've never heard that before. What you're saying, something that makes more sense to me than the thoughts that I was thinking previously. And so working with young people has never been a disappointment for me.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jason. I've been honored to get to schools. I was able to build a school in Senegal a few years ago and Nepal before that. And the voices of these young people around the world, that's the really astounding thing. Whether we're working with children or young people here in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or Brazil or Senegal or Nepal, the young people have so much to share. And the more that we explore, what does it look like to give them their voice back? From a very young age, we're taught, shh, don't say that, oh, that's wrong. And we shut down for years. Actually, it was Agape. I have to acknowledge you, Jason, and the Rev, and everyone over there. I was so ashamed for many years about dancing, and I remember just losing myself in bliss and ecstasy when I would go to Agape and, back at that one over in Culver City, and people would just be dancing, and I just didn't care. I was like, you know what? People may have made fun of me for dancing when I was a kid, but sometimes there is just this opportunity to be self-expressed. So how do we do that, Jason? As somebody who works with young people, how do we give people their voice back so that way we don't have to wait 20 or 40 or 60 years to reconnect to that power that is our God-given gift, to be able to share our voice, our capital S self?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that comes to mind for me is acceptance. We don't realize that it's challenging for us to accept everyone else's unique voice because we've been unwilling to accept our unique voice. Unfortunately, our parents, many of them, the elders and guardians around us, depending on your community, if you're from a Black, oppressed, suppressed, categorized community, indigenous group who were taught to be afraid of the systemic oppression and the violence and the harm that could come to you simply by walking down the street, simply by existing. much of the information that we receive as children is to be seen, not heard, sometimes not even be seen. And so the idea that we would use our voice, that we would speak up, that we would talk about how we feel, that we would talk about the things that have happened to us is forbidden, let alone taboo. And so the recognition that there's likely some forgiveness work to be done with the whole society, with just acknowledging that the country, regardless of the political system, the political institution, political party, the belief structures and systems, the religious, let all the systems go. And from a place of forgiveness, let them all pass. And in my present moment awareness, say, I take hold of who I am. I may be learning, but I'm going to learn who I truly am. I'm not the things that happened to me. I'm not the neighborhood that I grew up in. Even if I love the neighborhood, even if I'm very proud of the neighborhood, even if I'm very proud of the culture, that's not me. It's one of the many different expressions of me. So I don't even want to limit myself by, as proud as I am that I've been created and I express as an African-American man, as a Black man in the world. That's not the only way I express. My Indigenous Aboriginal brothers and sisters, that's not the only way they express. We were even talking about queer identity in the chat, and Scott was giving some beautiful articulation in the chat. But even our sexual identity is not all that we are. So it is essential that we really get to know ourselves beyond race, beyond gender, beyond sexual orientation, beyond any limited idea that is transitory, beyond any limited idea that is not the same yesterday, today, and forever. And in exploring that and giving ourselves permission to embrace that, we then learn how to give it to each other. We then learn how to accept the person who's unhoused and homeless and has a rank, dank smell to them, that has an articulation, a loud voice, a boldness, maybe speaking to themselves that we don't understand, that's standing on the corner across from the neighborhood grocery store or bodega. And we don't ever have to see them as wrong. We don't have to see them as broken. We can see them as being an expression, and we can simply hold the same space for them that we have now learned to hold for ourselves.
Wow. I'm really moved, Jason. You don't know this, but earlier today, I was accosted by a couple of homeless people who just were really upset in Hollywood and going through their experience. And I really acknowledge my sister has mental illness and she was homeless at one point. So I like to think of myself as somebody who's compassionate to it. Yet sometimes we get in our own fear-based bubble. We get into our bubble filled with judgments and fears and resistance to the person or the thing or the disease or whatever it might be. And so I love what you just said there. Say that again, Jason. I think you said to hold space for every which way that we all show up. Can you say that again? It was so powerful.
It is essential that we understand how infinite the infinite is. We want to control, structure, push to the left, push to the right, existence. But that's not how it works. And so as I see our brothers and sisters, our folks in the community, I want to simply hold them in my heart and my awareness, and also trust that there is a true, clear discernment in my relationship with the presence, that I also know that, it's not my time to walk near this person because of where they are. That's not a judgment about them. That's a clear guidance that has nothing to do with establishing their value or devaluing their humanity. And so I can simply hold space. If the world needs anything, It's those of us who are willing to hold a non-judgmental space. We are not evaluating. We are not establishing a value. We are not devaluing creation, right? Our brothers and sisters who are fighting for the rainforest are trying to tell us these trees are not more or less valuable than these trees. Our brothers and sisters who are working in mental health and recovery, substance abuse and recovery are trying to tell us that these people who have chemical reactions within their brain to particular substances and haven't found a way to manage it are not more or less valuable. So let us hold a space. That space is love. That space doesn't require us to do any favors, to give money. No, hold space. And in that space, I see and hold a love for this person, when you're ready for it, as the greatest love of my life, as the greatest person who's ever loved me, whether they're on this side of the veil or not. And it requires no external action unless inspired, unless prompted. But being able to look in the eyes of a person who is transient, it's fascinating to realize how often and how rare they get honest, simple eye contact. And I can give somebody eye contact from a distance, give a little head nod, an inner acknowledgement, and never, never take away their humanity, their divinity, their beauty.
Thank you, Jason, for sharing how we can all hold space and clear the beliefs, the limited beliefs, the ways of being. It's not about always doing. Sometimes I think as human beings, Jason, like to your point, what we say is we want to fix things, right? We either want to get away from it or fix it. And yet all of that exists within this bubble of judgment. And so what would be possible if we could allow? We were talking earlier today about allowing a conscious loving breath. What if we could allow every manifestation, every voice in the world to be equally heard, and to let go of the judgment of this voice should be heard, this voice shouldn't be heard. And I know there's a great question. We're getting lots of great comments here in the chat. So beautiful. Carol, kudos to you for building several schools. I know we had a question in here as well about, with the young ones having so much anger, how do we support them in that, Jason? With so much anger and animosity and bitterness, how do we help to heal from the inside out?
So anger is fire. And many of us have not learned how to handle fire. Many of us don't know how to handle anger. In spiritual spaces, I will be really honest, far too many of us in spiritual spaces are afraid of emotion. Far too many of us in spiritual spaces seek to manipulate, to force down feelings. We're not willing to be sad. We're not willing to have our hearts broken. We're not really willing to feel at the depths of most of our favorite teachers. When Thich Nhat Hanh passed recently, I did a little bit of a dive into some of his writings, and he talked about how essential suffering is to the awakening and the transformation of the individual and our world. But most of us want to do and are actively engaged in spiritual bypass. We want to feel good. Understandable. Like, let's be clear. I like to feel good. I was dancing with CORNFLOWER. I was getting my boogie groove, shake it on. You can't see it the whole time. But I've had deep suffering and deep sadness in my life. And I am better for it. Not because I sought it. I was certainly not seeking it. But one of my teachers, and I have many teachers, Reverend Ron Blair, talks about emotions just being information, just data, especially for our scientists and the intellects. And so when it comes to our young people, are you kidding? They have a right to be angry. The society that they're living in right now, it's changing faster than any adult has seen a society change. The society for a teenager is so different from when they were 8 years old. It's so far, it's like for them, the 5 years that happened was 25 for us. So the ability to acclimate and to have the time to integrate all the shifting and changing, they're just learning new words. They're just learning new feelings. They're just learning new emotions. So they are, as Dr. Laura is talking about, afraid. And the reaction to fear is anger. And parents, it's okay to simply acknowledge you don't have the answers, but we're willing to figure it out together. Bring the children, elders, bring the children, sit them on the couch. They're not going to find the answers scrolling. They're not going to find the answers amongst the friends who don't know any more than them. But we can come together as community and say, you know what? I'm going to give you spaced breath to fully be angry. Go flame on like Fantastic Four, Johnny, just flame on. But at some point, we've got to talk. And you may not know everything about why you're angry. You may not know everything about why you feel that way. But it's a gift, son. It's a gift, daughter. It's a gift, cousin. If it's a gift, my beloved, that you've been willing to tell me you're angry and not just be angry and not just lob your anger at me. Because I'm willing to be here and to be a space, here we go again, to be a space where you can feel fully and not have to apologize for feeling a particular way. Because how many of us have had to apologize for deep feeling, which in truth is just a reaction to life that we don't have the ability to control and we don't want to manipulate. So we want to give children the gift and the space, which means parents, adults, and guardians, it's time for you to take up that new workshop, to take up that new class. Somebody in here is offering it where you begin to acknowledge and receive your own feelings, because you got some resentments, you got some step parents that you didn't talk about, you got some friends, cousins, family members, some stuff you just have yet to integrate. And through that journey, our children can become freer than we ever were at their stage, because we already know they know more information than we knew. They just don't have mastery yet over the information because they have no one taking them through the steps of integration, of discovery, of understanding, of evaluation. And we, as the people who are here caring for them, can learn how to do that.
Wow, so powerful, Jason. I love what Donna said in the chat too. We need to listen to their anger and not judge them. And Scott, before we have you go on, I know we're running a little over right now. I'd love to invite Teresa up. She commented to me in the chat. She has something she'd love to share with us. So
sure, let me put her on camera. There she is. Oh, you want a second, Teresa?
Unmute. Hi, guys. I just couldn't let this moment pass. I just know it's such a powerful time that we're in right now. And Daniel, thank you for what you shared right in the beginning around just coming into this present moment, not my past, not my culture, not anything, just me. Who am I right now, coming here, being present and giving my gift? And you shared that and about really accepting everyone, and we can from that place because we're not outside judging anything. We're inside presencing what's my part, which is curious and exciting and all kinds of things. I'd love to see Jennifer on the screen too, please. And you said that, and Jennifer had an experience this morning where she actually was in the face of that energy coming at her before we had our global coherence pulse today. And there's just, I mean, it's exactly what the field needs, for us to feel the feelings of what it feels like to be in the face of us finding ourselves home, and knowing that the most essential thing that we can do is to be in our own present moment awareness and bring that through. And there's no room to judge or anything at that point. And I just didn't want to miss that moment, because Jennifer, those feelings are there for you. You had that today, and you chose to feel it, and you chose to do the work, and you chose to show up and share your light today, this morning on the Pulse and here tonight. And we can't not feel it, and we need to stand and claim it just by being it. And so, Jason, thank you for that. First blush was just, you're not all of those things. You're who you are right now. Choose it, claim it, and discover it and explore it and share it, and blessed be. So.
Oh,
Man.
Teresa,
Thank you, Teresa.
your voice is so important. All of our voices are so important. What if we honored one another's voices, what needs to be shared, what is being called forth, as Jason just so beautifully articulated, in this present moment and in the next present moment? And what if we could notice the judgment without getting entangled by it? In fact, I wasn't planning this. There is something I really would like to share. It's a name for God, according to the Kabbalists, called sweetening judgment. And I will tell you what it says. It says, every word we speak, every action we perform is a boomerang flung into the cosmos. All these billions of boomerangs inevitably return to our lives, the positive and all the negative ones. Though we're not aware of it, any negative behavior, even if it seems minor, whenever we speak in an uncivil or rude way, whenever we cheat, lie, steal, or insult another, we create a force of judgment. These negative forces are the unseen cause behind all things that just happen to go wrong in our life. It may take minutes or months or even years, but eventually we must confront the consequences of our reactive deeds. Right now, obstacles are present in our lives because of the force called judgment, and judgment befalls us to the degree that we inflict judgment upon others. But Kabbalah says that our own words cannot serve as an indictment against ourselves. We cannot decree a judgment on our own being. Life, therefore, is cleverly arranged so that we constantly meet and befriend people who commit errors and sins to our own. And when we judge them, our own fate is sealed in that moment. But suppose we could refrain from judging friends, family, and undeserving foes. If this were possible, judgments could never come to bear upon us.
Powerful.
Thank you. And thank
So
you,
powerful.
Jason. You created all of this, my friend. You created this beautiful, extraordinary space, and would love, love, love any closing thoughts from you, Jason, as we move into sharing about what you're doing and the invitation to join you in morning prayer.
You know, I put something in the chat, which is a wonderful acronym, speaking of the voice, that I got from an organization that I work with called BEAM, B-E-A-M. And they often invite us to be present when we're in group discussion, to ask ourselves, the acronym is WAIT. It's why am I talking? Why aren't I talking? Because what you said, Jennifer, just a moment ago is, you know, figuring out a way to share our voice, use our voice. And some of these thoughts that we have are not ours. Some of the thoughts that move through the mental field are not ours. And so discerning that, learning how to discern that is key. I invite people, if they ever want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook as Jason Davion Mitchell. And specifically, each day, Monday through Friday, I facilitate a space at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time called our Daily Prayer Call. And on our daily prayer call, we hold a space with affirmations, reading, and allow people to engage in prayer and then in discussion upon deep spiritual ideas and concepts on a day-to-day basis. So we gather for about an hour, sometimes a little shorter, sometimes a little longer, depending how juicy it is. But we do that on a regular basis. And though it's not on here, I'm also on Instagram doing the same thing under the handle Conscious Lens. It's just the word conscious and lens, L-E-N-S. So please come join us.
Thank you so much. I'm going to bring Jennifer and Teresa back on for a minute. And I'd like to just suggest a minute of silence because there's so much that's been expressed here that's really beautiful. So let's just take it in and get in touch with our own feelings about what we've heard. I want to invite people to put into the chat box whatever has come up for you, because there's so much wisdom spoken, so much shared. I want to acknowledge, Jason, that I felt humbled because today I noticed, and I didn't even pay conscious attention, but there was a woman who was clearly under the influence that as I was walking, getting ready to do this show, I passed by and she was screaming and being having an experience, and I noticed that I didn't look at her, I didn't even bless her, I just kind of avoided that energy, and so I feel humbled as you brought that up. It's like, oh wow, I did that just a few hours ago. So thank you for the reminder that we can always stop and smile, and or as Paramahansa Yogananda taught, at least just say maximum grace to this person, maximum grace to this being. So thank you for that reminder.
Thank you, Scott. That's beautiful.
Thank you. One more time, just again, in case people missed it, you can find him on Facebook, Jason Davon Mitchell. So it's Jason and it's spelled D-A-V-E-O-N Mitchell on Facebook. That's his Facebook page. Definitely you can follow him. I imagine that people can message you as a way to connect. I'm going to do that.
Yes.
I want to schedule a time for you to come on and be on one of my shows where we can talk a little bit more in depth with you.
Please, that'd be my honor, Scott.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Teresa, for jumping on and sharing with us. And thank you, everybody. And do put in the chat box what has come up for you in these beautiful expressions.
Would you mind if I feel like this might be a good opportunity for a musical break before we get into announcements, just to kind of ease the flow of the energy?
Absolutely. How about if we go to
Savannah back on, if Savannah is with us still, because I know it's past her bedtime too. I don't know about you, it's almost past my bedtime.
Absolutely. Savannah, thank you, and you're up.
Oh, also, by the way, the song is Like You from Tatiana.
Thank you so much.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move. 'Cause the world will never see you until you do. No, they don't really care what you're going through. So you gotta show them, baby. You gotta show them the real you. You gotta give them what you got. No, don't let them see what you're not, 'cause you are strong. You are wise. You worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby, 'cause nobody's perfect, darling. And no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. What do you do when you can't let go? What do you say when you just don't know how you feel? And you know nobody knows how you feel, 'cause everybody got their own darn problem. So everybody's trying to find their way, and day by day it's a struggle. In this world, you know you have to hustle. Just know that you're not alone. You don't always have to be strong all by yourself. I said it's okay to ask for help, so listen. You are strong, you are wise, you are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby, 'cause nobody's perfect, darling. And no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you.
Oh, wow. Let's all twinkle her. Let's all give her some love. That was beautiful.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, now, Savannah, don't go away, because we got a question for you. Do you ever get nervous before you're going to perform?
No, but one time I had this audition and I really wanted the lead role, but I didn't get it. I got an ensemble, but I went more more roles, and I just like practiced and I got over my fear.
So the way you get over your fear, because this we're learning from you right now, you get over your fear by just practicing and trusting in your natural talent.
Yes.
And do you worry about what people are going to think, or if they're going to judge you, or you just trust your talent?
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that a great teaching for all of us, huh? Right? To not worry about what other people are going to think or say, but just trust our offering to the world. That's beautiful.
Beautiful, Savannah. Thank you so much. And I was just putting in the chat, I love the synchronicities and serendipities of how appropriate that song was that you just shared, that we are wise and we are strong. And it is so true, because some days, I don't know if you're there yet, Savannah, but as an adult 41-year-old woman, some days you just want to curl up in a ball in bed and be like, not today, you know? And it's worth just remembering, as you sung so beautifully, that you are wise and you are strong. And my God, you are wise and strong. And I'm so grateful to have connected with you and to have had you here with us today to share your heart and spirit and your beautiful voice. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up with you today, Savannah?
I don't think so.
Well, you're amazing, my friend. We look forward to seeing you accepting your Oscar in a few years.
Thank you.
Or Grammy, whatever you choose. So thank you for being here with us, Savannah. And I think it's back over to you now, Scott, so we can get into some of the announcements.
All right.
We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. We are one love, yeah, yeah, one love, 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 one love.
Hey, everybody. Well, yeah, we've got quite a few announcements. First off, again, if you haven't filled out the survey for Sedona, please fill it out. my partner that I'm working with on that retreat with Tangela, we looked at all the surveys today, and it really helped us to shape and make the decision to do this. So please fill that out one more time. I'll put it in the chat box. And I want to let people know that I am going to be leading another master class. Some of the people who are on the show tonight or in our audience took this. And this is my absolute master class where I teach the best tools of relationship understanding, compassionate communication, emotional intelligence. And I've decided to do another course. It's 12 weeks. There'll be a bonus class for people who sign up early on September 17. And there's a special early bird discount. So if you register now, you can get the early bird price. And we go deep. It's a beautiful group of people. Usually I keep it to about 25 to 35 folks. We get very close and we really learn and we grow together. And it's Saturday mornings, and then there's an optional empathy practice group. So I'd love to invite people to participate in that. Again, I'll put the registration link into the chat box when I'm done doing these announcements. I also want to make sure that everybody knows about tomorrow's show, because it's going to be really special. We had a couple of times we've had Kimberly Meredith on, and she does amazing, spontaneous, she's a medical medium, and she does healing for people. And the last time we had her on a few weeks ago, so many people wanted experiences with her, and we ran out of time. So tomorrow it's just going to be Meredith all day long. We will have an Amishar song in the beginning and in the end, and a brief meditation, but then 90 minutes of receiving treatment from Kimberly Meredith. So that's going to be tomorrow's Sacred Sunday show. So definitely join us for that. Also, we're going to have next weekend, I get to collaborate. You know, every weekend now I'm collaborating with somebody. This weekend, of course, with Jennifer and Teresa Collins. And next weekend, I get to collaborate again with Tangela and Soul Search. And so just running through briefly next weekend shows, they're all people that are part of Soul Search, this amazing group, including Neil Gar, who we're going to be working with. He's going to be a big part of the retreat. He's putting together the music festival happening at the same time we're going to be having the retreat. And also, of course, Tangela and myself. And next Friday night, it's all about really embracing all aspects of ourselves. Tarek Bibi, people loved him when we had him on the show before. He's Palestinian, India Prema, has many different cultures. She's from, Tangela was originally born in Bangladesh. She has an Islamic heritage. Neil Gar is very mixed heritage. So all four of them are going to be talking about really being a universal human and embracing all the parts of ourselves. So that's going to be next Friday night. And then on Saturday night, we're going to be talking about manifesting. Let's face it, we all are wanting to manifest at a higher and higher level. Marcy Shimoff will be with us. And Marcy she teaches manifesting at a very high level. I'm not going to go into all the different people with us, but you can see we've got a very large group of people who are going to be with us talking about various tools and practices for manifesting at a high level. That's next Saturday night. And then finally on Sunday, we're going to be talking about spiritual sovereignty. And this is kind of a new term that's come up in our culture. And again, all of these women who are going to be joining me are really brilliant. I've gotten to know each one of them, and they are going to talk about how we can create spiritual sovereignty, and just as important, respect the spiritual sovereignty of others. Finally, of course, many of you attended the memorial celebration that we had for Celestine Starr, which was on August 7th. It was a very beautiful celebration. And a lot of people wanted to have the opportunity to either be there or to speak, and they didn't have that chance. So on August 25th at 6 o'clock Pacific time, August 25th, 6 o'clock Pacific time, we are going to have a Zoom meeting where people can come in and share their reflections about Celestine. We'll show a couple of clips from Celestine's teachings, but just a community gathering. And again, I'm going to put all those into the chat box. So you can join us. And then we're going to conclude our announcements. I'm going to turn it over to Teresa Collins and Jennifer Hill to tell you about what's going on with Global Coherence Pulse.
I'm going to hand it over to my friend Teresa to share what's coming up next with the Pulse.
Hi, gosh. I don't know. I have a lot to share. First, I just want to say what a beautiful evening it was tonight. I'm, reading the notes in the chat, and Jennifer, your presence tonight and today on the Pulse. And this was a chance for me to kind of take a month off where I wasn't actually hosting the events, and Jennifer stepped in, and it was a glorious day. So thank you, Jennifer, for your loving presence today, and Arthur and Savannah and everybody that showed up. Greg this morning was amazing. And we pulsed the field with love and presence. And we took time out of our day to actually be right here, figuring out how do we become more present and more connected together. And so that's what the Global Coherence Pulse is. Every month we come together and we practice and we explore and we experience coherence. So join us on the third Saturday of every month doing that. And also the Global Coherence Pulse is participating, like Scott is, and Awaken World and many other organizations, Unitive Narrative, are participating in an initiative called Peace Through Unity. And it started with World Unity Week, and it's moving through Peace Week. And we challenged ourselves, like, what could we do in 99 days to demonstrate peace through unity towards a thriving world for all? And you can go on that website and you can sign up for free, and you can join the connection field where you'll find the Pulse and the Islands of Coherence and things that we're doing and demonstrating. Scott Catamas also in the Awakened World. And maybe think about, when you're in there, what am I doing right now in my life that's contributing towards greater peace through unity? And I think it starts right inside each of us. And if we can pause and be present there and cultivate our capacity to stay there in the face of things like you faced today, Jennifer, then I think we're contributing the most essential thing we can do on the planet. So I'm grateful to have this opportunity to co-host with you, Scott, and make it easy for you on these days. And Jennifer, to just have your shining presence today. It's just been a gift for me. It's like a little birthday gift.
Happy birthday, my beautiful and incredible friend. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Greg Papania, who definitely check out the Pulse and his music earlier. And happy birthday to Cornflower. We have so many wonderful August
Yes.
in the house. So deep
There's
gratitude.
Cornflower. Let me put it on. There you go.
Birthday love, birthday love. Should we sing everybody happy birthday? How do you feel about that, Scott? Should we have people on mute and
Sure.
sing happy birthday
Let's
today?
do it.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and lead. Ready? I don't know if any of our singers are still on here. So, Omashar,
Yeah, we can do it.
for us, a little birthday background music. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday
to
you.
Happy
birthday, our souls.
Happy
birthday
to you.
Well, Omashar, welcome again.
It's really hard when everybody is doing it at once, but I see that Savannah is with us. Savannah, would you be willing to sing happy birthday, and we'll just drop in and listen to your birthday song?
Sure.
Yay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cornflower. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, there's Teresa.
Hip, hip. Hooray. Hip, hip. Hooray.
Hooray.
Hip, hip. Hooray.
Hooray. Thank you, Savannah. Thanks for jumping in.
Beautiful.
When I saw you were there, I thought she can do it for us. Thank you so much.
That was amazing. Thank you, Savannah. Birthday love for all.
All right. Well, we're almost to the wrap. I'm going to turn it over to Brother Omashar to conclude our evening. And thank you again, Jennifer, Teresa, Savannah, Cornflower, Jason, all of our wonderful guests. And take it away, Omashar.
Wow, I'm humbled by tonight. I just learn so much every time I tune into the Global Peace Tribe. I'm so grateful tonight. So many takeaways. I'm going to be dreaming at the highest vibration imaginable. And one thing Jason said is discernment. It's so important, discernment right now. We're in this mental effluvia of everything that's happening in the world. And for me to discern what is mine and what is not is so important. And so without any further ado, I'm going to play a song called The Wonderful and the New. And so here we go. And thank you, Savannah. What an inspiration you are.
You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. Your loving hearts will lead the way. The door is open. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. Now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. You'll never be alone again. Please take my hand in yours. I love you just the way you are. You're my creation. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. And take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. And now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with
Thank you, beautiful brother Omashar. Thank you again, Jennifer, for co-hosting. Looking forward to co-hosting with you again in a month, and it'll be Peace Week. So I know you've got a really special Peace Week show beginning to come together. We'll have Gary Milken and Jude Curvin. So that'll be fun. Thank you, Omashar. Omashar will be playing music tomorrow morning for our Sacred Sunday show. Come get your healing from King Meredith. And thank you, everybody, for being with us. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. And I want to say a special hello to those watching the recording. More and more people are watching the recordings on our YouTube channel or on Unify. So whether you're watching live or the replay, blessings, maximum grace for you and your family. Good night, everybody.